Hey everybody,
Hi guys,
Mr. and Mrs. Traveler here.
El Slam, and no, this is not a green screen.
Welcome to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, where those fish live, and we love to look at them.
Absolutely. So, guys, welcome aboard the MSC Meraviglia.
The Meraviglia. The
Yes,
G is silent.
the
as
G is
I've
silent.
heard so many times.
They're wasting a perfectly good G in there, but okay, we got it. Meraviglia. All right, everybody, so let's get down and talk to you about the MSC Meraviglia. Let me start by saying this ahead of time, and then please make sure that you stay tuned towards the end of the video. I'm going to kind of give you some disclaimers on the information that we're giving you here. To start off this video, I want to say I did have a wonderful time on this ship. I don't want you to come across as that I did not have a good time on this ship. But you know us, we have to be very honest on the things that we experience during our cruise experience. And we're going to bring that to you today.
These pros and cons videos seem to be very popular because we are very honest, and we are just two kids from Detroit who decided to start cruising as adults. And the way we see cruises is totally different from everybody else. We are very, very honest because we see things from a real perspective. So if it's not your opinion, don't worry about it. You have your own opinion. You can sell it if you like. This is just the opinion that we have of this particular ship.
So, and we draw our experience from being on many, many cruises and being on many different cruise lines, many different ships. And we kind of have a baseline on what we expect and don't expect from service.
Sure.
And from ships. So, that being said, let's get started. If you don't mind, because my list is kind of extensive, I'm just going to wrap up all my cabin ones into one, if you don't mind.
No problem.
Because otherwise this video will be a little bit long.
So what me and Mr. Traveler do is we have sailed 50 cruises, and we make totally different lists from each other. We do not talk about the list until we get in front of you guys and on camera to make it more realer. So we are married. If you're a first-time cruiser or a first-time watcher, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this pros and cons. We do pros and cons on each and every cruise that we take. And we hope that you take this consideration in advance if you are selling.
All right, so I'm going to jump right into the cabins. I'm going to give you my pros and cons of the cabin, then you can chime in on that.
Okay.
So the cabin. First of all, the cabin is beautifully decorated. I really love the touches that are in the cabin. And other than that, the shower is a really good shower, nice glass shower enclosure. It has a removable shower head. So all that is very good. I appreciate that in the cabin. Where we lack in certain things. If you're traveling with more than two people in one of these cabins, you're going to have a tough time on space. There's not a lot of space in here. It's 3 drawers, a couple of shelves, and the closet space. There's no drawers at all underneath the vanity. It's just a refrigerator and the drawer for where the hair iron, blow dryer. Good God, the blow dryer. That's where that's located. So if you're traveling, it's okay for 2 people, but if you're doing more than 2 people in the cabin, you're going to have a tough time with space.
Yeah, I think a con would be if it's more than 2 people in the cabin, the space is not enough.
Okay, so my biggest pet peeve, no charging stations by the bed. This is a fairly new ship, no USB ports, no plugs by the bed on either side, big negative for me. And then the other negative is the television set on the wall is located, and I'll show it to you, is located in between the bed and the couch in the stateroom, and the television does not swivel at all. It's mounted flush to the wall, so when you're laying in the bed, it's very difficult to see. You can kind of see the TV channel once it's on, but to actually hit the menu button to see what's on television was very difficult to see from the bed, because you can't swivel the TV to see it.
As you can see here in this clip.
All right, everybody, so here is the television we were talking about, and here is the bed. You can see in front of the bed is this picture, and the TV is off to the side. This is the view you get from the one side of the bed, so you can see the angles a little even more intense from the other side of the bed. Absolutely does not move at all. So really should have a swivel television here. And then my last beef with the cabinet is still around the television set, which was very. We don't come on cruises to watch television, but when you are in the cabin, you know, and then maybe you're resting before you go to dinner at night, or maybe you call it early and you just want to have a chill night in the cabin, there's absolutely nothing to watch on these televisions. Nothing at all. Is Travel Channel, which you think would have travel stuff. No, they're just hitting reruns of Ghost Adventures and demonic stuff on there, which I'm not watching. Discovery Channel, we've been watching Dirty Jobs was on left and right. And then the Food Network. And they were just playing Chopped, left and right, which is, you know, it gets old after a while. And then it was a Turner Classic Movies, which plays old black and white movies, which, you know, all right, some of them are good, but I don't want to necessarily see that on a cruise. The rest of it was all news channels, which I don't, you know, the world is falling apart right now as we're making this video with the virus going on. I don't necessarily want to see about it on TV. I'll find out when we get back. And then the rest of it is different language channels. So big, huge negative on that. There are movies available on there, but they all cost $8. Even movies that have been out for years and years and years cost you $8 to buy. Cabin, what's your thoughts?
Okay, let me start with my pro. The pro of the cabin it's a spacious cabin for 2 people. I felt very comfortable in the cabin. However, there is a blow dryer for our ladies' hair. I like that. And there's like a little vanity there, but I'm not sure if every room will have that in it. Like Mr. Traveler said, when I'm doing my makeup and I'm filming for you guys, I like to watch a little TV. Well, you can't turn the TV to watch it, so, and then there's nothing on TV, so, which is fine, that's okay. But my con, I have to go with my con. It's a pro and a con. The room attendant was really good with a cabin. However, he forgot the first day our washcloths. So I didn't bring my own washcloths. I should have really brought my own, but there were no washcloths in our room. So I had to find the room attendant the next day and tell him, please give me extra towels. I didn't like that. But the shower, I really like the spaciousness of the shower, like Mr. Traveler said, and the bathroom. However, the con was there was a smell in the shower every single day. I had to spray air freshener in the shower before I took a shower. It was in the sink in the shower, so I'm thinking maybe it's something with the sewer lines. On MSC, comment below, let me know if I'm calling that out correctly, but it was like a sour kind of a basement smell in the shower. Not so much on Seaside. I didn't smell anything on Seaside, but here on the Meraviglia, I really smelled the scent. Yeah, the Meraviglia, there definitely was a scent in the bathroom. Okay, and then staying on the cabin, we're going to wrap up the cabin because we can stay on the cabin for a long time. Like Mr. Traveler said, my toiletries, I bring a lot of them, and then with the things that's going on with the virus going around the world and things like that, I bring a lot of cleaning products. Well, it's not a lot of space in the cabin, so I couldn't have my makeup out, my cleaning products as well. So the storage space is really, really small on the ship. Make sure you pack light when you're selling this particular ship because the storage is very, very small. So I really had to keep all my things in my suitcase. Some of my things I just kept in my suitcase.
Let's move on to the ship, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth between our pros and cons. I'll start off with the pro, which I think Mrs. Traveler, I already know. I don't have to look at her list. I know she agrees with this one. Is the biggest pro is the ship is absolutely beautiful.
It's fabulous.
Yes.
The decor is fabulous. It's a modern theme, very eclectic. Unlike the Seaside, bling is here. If you're looking for the bling factor, it's here, but not as much as the Seaside.
Yeah, they have the beautiful atrium promenade down the middle of the ship with the LED dome that changes. They have shows and everything up there. Of course, they have the Swarovski crystal stairs all throughout, as many of their other newer ships do.
Mm-hmm.
Very tastefully decorated, elegant. little bit of a modern flair. So it's a really, really beautiful ship, no doubt about it.
It is gorgeous, fabulous. A+ on the decor. It's really, really pretty. I don't think the decor matches the cabin though. The cabin is more contemporary. Okay. Well, if we're gonna go to the pros, my next is the buffet. It was the buffet was surprisingly really, really good. But the con was it didn't change every day. But the food there was okay. I would say it was a pro for the food.
So let's get to probably our biggest con, the food.
The food was also a con.
So I'm gonna say this. I was gonna say this for the end of the video, but I'll say it now. The food is an issue with these ships. She ordered a lobster ravioli one night. I ordered a Creole pasta with sausage on there, which I'm ready for it, right? Both times we got them, they looked like they came straight out of the Kraft box with a watered down cheese sauce. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. Like, we didn't eat it. I mean, it was very bad. I
never sent food back on the ship. I sent it back.
And I'm going to say this: that was probably our worst meals. The meals on here weren't bad. They were just
weren't good either.
Yeah, I mean, it was just okay. For example, nachos on the buffet, no cheese. And I thought maybe the first day it was a fluke, but they did it again. They got salsa, they got refried beans, they got sour cream, no cheese.
No cheese.
I don't get it, and they kept doing it. So the point I wanted to make with these ships here, and I said that what I said on the seaside was that if MSC wants to be a competitor in the U.S. market, they have to step up their game with the USA customers.
They have to.
Sailing a second MSC ship, I've come to a realization with MSC. MSC, I believe, is just putting their ships here primarily for a landing spot for European people coming over to the States that want to do the Caribbean. And they're making the ships and the meals and everything more catered towards that audience.
They would be very comfortable on the ship.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not saying that you're gonna, you know, as an American consumer, that you'll be, you know, displeased. Like I said, I started off the video by telling you, I had a very good time on here. You know, but if you're looking for that American experience, you're probably not going to get it on MSC.
No, you have to have an open mind.
They've picked and chosen a few things to Americanize it a little bit, but not really. So,
it's almost like a Royal Caribbean ship being placed over in the Mediterranean, but Americans over there would feel comfortable on that ship. It's the same with MSC and here in the United States. Same thing.
All right, so
if you want to watch the full video, it'll be linked right here.
It's a little short this time because
it is. We didn't eat a lot.
It's because
yeah, we didn't eat a lot. We ate a lot on the islands this time, but the video is right here if you want to watch it.
All right, so what's your next con?
You just start with embarkation. We can start there. Embarkation was somewhat interesting. We have never experienced an embarkation like we did. And did we film it?
No, I don't think we did.
Okay. Embarkation was quite different this time. I don't think the embarkation team is the same as the cruise one.
This one is. This was MSC people.
Okay, because we were confused on where to go as usual, like we always are. But when we asked for directions, we like a really soft, gentle answer back. We didn't get.
Well, no, the woman was standing there and she just says this way, this way, this way. Okay, well, the way she's pointing this way,
it was to the key.
There was 3 different options.
Yeah.
One of them goes onto the ship.
The yacht club, the key.
One of them goes to the yacht club's place, and one of them goes to the line you're supposed to check in. But when you go up there, you don't know which line is which.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, okay, where do I get? So we're waiting in the line, and we're obviously waiting in the wrong line.
Yeah.
So we get in the right line. So it's just the not proper signage there and or people giving direction. The people were just kind of chilling. One time we were waiting in line for the check-in process, and there was 6 people up there, workers behind the counter, and they were just
talking to each
and
other.
Nobody in front of them. And then the supervisors came by. Oh, they started bringing people on.
We had waited for about a half hour. They were just sitting there talking to each other.
What I'm getting at is I don't have these problems when we go on Royal Caribbean. We go on Royal Caribbean, you walk in there, it has clearly stated check in here if you're a first-time cruiser, if you're Emerald status, if you're Diamond status, you're Diamond Plus. you know where
Where
your
to
line
go.
is going because they are clearly identified and marked.
You do not know where to go when you come onto an MSC, and I think maybe it's a language barrier,
I don't know.
but there's no signs, so you have to figure out where to go on your own, basically.
All right, so moving on to the pros. Lots of pools on this bad boy.
Yeah, there was a lot of pools,
I love the swimming pools here. They have
deep pools.
very deep pools. They're almost 6 feet deep. 2 main pools on the main Lido deck, which are really nice, big size.
Yeah.
And they have a nice water bridge in between them and plenty of places to sit. And there's the day beds all around there, so great space there.
I did enjoy the pool this time. I really did.
Beyond that, there's a atrium pool in there as well, which is also a really good sized pool. The yacht club folks have their own little small pool, and there's also another pool at the back of the ship. So not a lack of pools on this ship. Really great job with that. I love being able to have a lot of pool options on the ship. Great job.
And another pro is I really enjoyed the chocolate factory. I thought that the sculptures that they made out of chocolate was so fabulous and different. I really thought it was unique. It smelled so good, and it makes you want to eat the chocolate. It was a really big store, and different types of chocolates you can choose from. I thought that was really interesting versus, the candy store that's like on Carnival. This one was all chocolate. And they had hot cocoa, they had cappuccinos, espressos, whatever you wanted inside this chocolate factory. So I thought that was a really good pro.
All right, so moving back to the cons, and what we're going to do here, guys, because we actually have more cons than we do pros for this particular ship. That's why I started off prefacing saying I did have a good time, we have to go down this list. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go down it kind of quickly, back and forth. We're not going to dwell on it too long, for the sake of time. So let's just rattle these on down. So my first con, and then we'll jump over to Miss Traveler, is limited complimentary beverages in the dining room. So in the dining room, if you don't have a beverage package and you want something to drink besides water, you're pretty much out of luck. They have iced tea, unsweetened.
That's it.
No lemonade, nothing else.
I am not a drinker. I don't drink, so I had no options. I really didn't like that. That was a con for me. The con is I really didn't like the entertainment because the parties was on the last couple days that we are about to get off the ship. They waited to have the white party, the tropical party, the beach party at the pool on the last days before we get off the ship. The first couple of days, we didn't do anything. The seas was rough, which I have to give them a pass for that. But then they schedule all their parties right before we get off the ship, so we really weren't able to really.
Well, here's the thing about that: the rough seas happen, and we've been on ships before where there's been rough seas. They've had to cancel shows. The difference is those other ships, other cruise lines we've been on, the entertainment, the cruise director will normally, and his staff will go into gear and find other things for them to do. Example, there was a rock and roll show they were supposed to go see. Okay, they couldn't perform on there because it's high seas. Why not bring the band into the center atrium and let them play down there? Let's have a party in the center atrium where it's not so bad, because they did have people down there playing, but they were
they were singing a lot of
stuff put you to sleep. So when there was no other parties going on, they just shut down like, oh well, have a good night.
And then also by the pool, the first 4 days there was no music by the pool.
Yeah, we came back in from Jamaica about an hour before we set sail, went to the pool, absolutely the dead silence.
There's no music.
Okay.
I didn't like that.
Next con, this is a big one. This is such a big one. I'm going to do a separate video on it. I'll touch on it here. I'm going to do a separate video on this to go a little bit more into detail. Very, very, very deceptive dining package program on MSC. Very deceptive. I'll go into more detail in a separate video.
This is a long story.
Yeah, it's too long for this video. This video is already going to be long enough. So I'll do a separate video on it, but a very deceptive specialty dining program.
It was like a ripoff. It really was. There's no way around it. There's no other way to say it. It was an absolute ripoff. And if you want to watch the video, make sure you stay tuned for the next video. We'll put that up on the next one. Yep. So you can go ahead and watch it and see our views on that, because we cruise a lot and we know exactly what's included in the dinner package. So we are very, very well traveled. We know what you expect, what you don't expect. We're going to.
Yeah, we're gonna help you be prepared for MSC if you choose to go on here. I'm gonna go into detail and show you exactly in detail what I was talking about.
And the reason why you watch these videos is because we're very, very honest. We don't get paid to do this. We are not sponsored. And we are just two people who love to sell just like you do, but we like to keep it real and tell you what's going on so you won't waste your money.
I mean, we own a travel agency, for God's sake. We're probably shooting ourselves in the foot with MSC.
That's
but,
okay.
But we have to be honest. We have to be honest with you guys. What's your next con?
Okay, next con was the cruise director was MIA. The entire ship. We went to pretty much all the parties that they had. We went to a lot of the shows. When he introduced the shows and things like that, he did a little bit of cruise line bashing. I didn't appreciate that because I like Carnival, I like Royal, and I like Norwegian. I like all the lines. I don't like it when a cruise director feel like they have to bash on another cruise line and make themselves look better. You don't have to go there every time you introduce
the guy didn't show up. He doesn't show up at any activities except for when the theater is, and he pops up. It's like he just wakes up at 7 p.m. Oh, let me go to work. And other than that, you don't see him.
And he said it. And when he introduced himself, he was like, well, there was one day that the ship was so rocky and the weather was so bad that the shows was canceled. So he came on the next day and said, well, here I am. Yesterday I had a day off.
Right.
What is that about?
We'll go back to my previous point where they should have gotten the gear and given us entertainment.
They should have gave us entertainment because we were just sitting around doing absolutely
So he went
nothing.
to the show and he was bashing on Carnival, and I'm thinking to myself, I would break both of your legs for a guy hamburger right now because I can't get a decent meal on this ship. I want a guy hamburger. We're sitting in port in Cozumel with all these other ships. And I'm smelling the food from here. Like, please throw me over a steak or something.
Yeah, the food was. Y'all understand what we're trying to say.
All right, so we have the seaside. He did the same thing on that one.
Same thing. We know him. We're familiar with this cruise director, but he needs to step up his game and get more involved with the sellings.
And I'll throw this in there. I didn't have this on here, but on that same note, the entertainment staff was very good. So when they did the pool parties and the little activities around there,
they saved the day.
Yeah, entertainment staff was great.
The dance teams,
yeah.
Thank you so much on MSC because y'all work hard.
Yeah.
And they kept everybody, the last couple days that they partied by the pool, they kept everybody busy. They were doing line dancing. They were doing all kinds. They had a snow fight by the pool. Not real snow. They was blowing like soap into the audience, but it was different. It blowing bubbles and snow into the audience. It was fun. To me, the dance team saved the day.
Okay, moving on to the next one. No clubs for adults.
I just have to sit back here and let Mr. Traveler go ahead and take over this particular video because he feels really strong about this.
Yeah, I was just really outdone by that. I mean, there was one venue that they labeled as the club, but it also doubled as the teen club. You know, and so it didn't open up till late every night. So like your last show ended at like 10 o'clock at night, and then the club didn't open up for another 2 hours, and there was nothing going on in between.
Absolutely
there.
Nothing.
The things they did have going on were like a violinist in the atrium, so it's stuff
or a piano player.
It's stuff that will literally make you go to sleep.
Yes.
I mean, it was no like 10 o'clock. Why not have the DJ in there at least? You know, have it even if the party doesn't officially start until midnight. That's fine, but at least have a DJ there so you can have like a little pre-party. But no, absolutely no entertainment, no club venue for adults. I was astonished by that.
We had a day at the island, and then the next day was a day at sea. So you know me and Mr. Traveler like to go clubbing to dance the food off. I like to exercise. We don't drink, but we love to dance. So we were getting ready to go to the club. We looked into soccer. What is this? They call it football. It was a big giant soccer atrium where you could play basketball, soccer, and things like that. They had a private event in there. So they had a DJ in there with nobody. It was not one person in there. DJ lights, disco globe. It was bumping with nobody in there. We couldn't even go in there. So the attic is wide open. It's like in a a hallway. We sharing it with teenagers. I was like,
Yeah, it was.
it was different.
What's your next kind?
My next kind is my last kind, and I'm gonna leave it like this. And the reason why I left it my last kind is because it really, really got under my skin. Unfortunately, on this cruise, we had more cons than pros, and me and Mr. Traveler, we actually could have said more than we're saying, but we're gonna hold back a little bit and let you have your own opinion of the ship. This is just our opinion. We were in the buffet line. We're walking into the dinner because we decided not to go to formal dinner because it's been so bad. So we decided to go into the buffet. We're walking into the buffet, and there's a lady walked up from the bar service. She's holding a tray. Mr. Traveler turns around and looks at me. He was looking for me. She turns around and says, "Watch where you're going, mister."
Yeah, no, it was a pole, a big like 4 foot by 4 foot pole, solid that you couldn't see around. So she was coming on one side of the pole, I was coming on the other side of the pole, and like we would have probably crashed into each other.
Yeah,
it was a accident.
It was an accident
on both of our parts. She was walking there, I was walking there. It should have just been a simple with both of us. Excuse me, and we're done. So before I could even look, I was looking this way.
Mm-hmm.
She like crossed right in front of me, and then she turns around and says, "Watch out, mister."
Mm-hmm. And she didn't know we was together. I guess this gave it away.
And I mean,
our skin.
It took
she
me.
Didn't. I was behind them.
It threw me for a loop because I wouldn't even say that to another passenger on the ship if we almost bumped heads. Like, watch out. Those are like fighting words.
Yeah.
Almost, you know what I mean?
We from Detroit.
So, I mean, that's just, it's just not.
She said it.
It's not
so
polite.
loud.
So I turned around, looked at it, I said, "Did you just tell me to watch it?" And then she kept walking, and then.
And I said, "Are you talking to my husband like that?"
She heard the rest of it, so.
And she said, "Yeah, I'm talking to him like that." And I can't tell you what else happened.
Yeah, she mumbled some cursities under her.
I have got to cut the video off as to what happened.
Enough with that story, but it's just, there's, most of the staff, 99% of the staff are great. I have never experienced anything like that at all. Like, passengers wouldn't even say that to each other. You know what I mean? It's
just felt she was very rude, and I let her know it.
I just couldn't believe that she came out of her mouth. She told me to watch out. So.
I didn't get loud. I didn't get obnoxious. She was loud and obnoxious, but I handled it in a professional way. Don't talk to my husband like that. But then, I had to tap on an officer and ask the officer to come over because she was yelling so loud. We were going back and forth, and it got out of hand. And we were in a buffet station. It was loud, so it got ugly. But then my husband explained, to everybody that, what actually happened. So I don't know what happened with her, but she was just really rude to my husband. What would you do if a bar attendant walking past and gets smart with your husband? Would you say something? Yeah. I mean, this ship has been really something else this week.
So this was my last kind. Then we'll move on to my last pro, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So my last kind is, they have a Cirque du Soleil show at sea here with MSC on certain MSC ships. The show itself was very good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
They have a couple of options. One of them is part of the dining package, which we'll talk about in another video. The other one is you have a beverage and show, so you get a beverage in the show. My con to this is that your beverage package, if you should happen to purchase the beverage package at MSC, cannot be used inside the Cirque du Soleil show. So if you choose to go with the beverage option, you can get one beverage there that comes along with your ticket. It's $18 per person, but you can't get any more drinks there on your beverage package. You can go buy some more drinks, but you have to go buy them. And I'm not sure about the dining. I think the dining didn't come with any beverage at all.
The dining was how much?
Well, that's a whole separate video.
Okay, we have to talk about that later.
So the dining did not come with the beverage at all, I don't believe. And so you had to purchase your drink with that. So that's the kind of amount. You should be able to use your drink package wherever. So. Sorry
this video is so long, but we have a lot to talk about, and we're actually cutting stuff out to put in another video. So if you want to keep watching it, or if you're interested in doing a ship like this, make sure you watch all the videos on this particular ship.
Okay, last pro, and then we'll wrap this thing up, which I want to end this on a good note. MSC's private island is absolutely fabulous.
It's fabulous. I love it. The light show with the tower, the stay all day till night is fabulous. I really love it.
Beach party at night with the DJs out there and on the beach and with the.
I can't be partial because Exuma's is my favorite, the favorite place in the world anyway. So
the island is really great.
Why do not have a good time?
I don't like that they nickel and dime a few things on there.
Yeah, like chairs and umbrellas and things like that.
Yeah, well, it's the umbrellas is the part that gets you. They charge you umbrellas, but I'll weigh that. The island is great.
Sure.
The party was great. Perfect. It's awesome staying there till the sun goes down.
Yes.
I absolutely loved it. Great job.
Comment below and let us know if you've been to MSC's private island, Ocean Cape, or Ocean Key. Is it K or Key?
All right, guys. So here's my final thoughts on MSC. I don't want to discourage you from trying to. As I said, I honestly did have a very good time, despite all these cons that we had on there. We mustered past them. I mean, they're cons because we know what to expect. We met people on here who have been first-time cruisers, and they are having a blast.
Having a ball.
And I get that. I mean, it really is a great spot. But when you know how other lines treat you,
it's hard to go backwards.
so again, I believe that MSC is putting these ships in Miami as landing spots for the European coming over. They feel comfortable on MSC.
I think they're just starting to come over, so they have some kinks to get out, but. All in all, it's been a really good week. We just have different standards because we cruise so much, but we're trying to give you the information you need before you sail.
So MSC it really is a very good option. With if you have a budget in mind, their prices typically are much lower than the other cruise lines. For example, the cabin similar to what we're doing in here was going for like $1,300 total for 2 people. That's it. Now you compare that to doing a Norwegian 7-day for 2 people in the balcony. It's going to be way more than $1,300 unless you catch a super deal. But their prices are consistently like that. So right now, 2020, MSC's prices are really very competitive. So right now, this cruise line is a very good option for people who are budget. I mean, they're giving Carnival a run for their money. The thing about it is that you have to be prepared to deal with some of the things that we've talked about on here.
Yeah, like people asking, would you like to buy? Do you want a drink package? Do you want to go to dinner?
Yeah.
Would you like the dining package? Would you like to buy, like every day somebody will approach you? You have to be ready for that.
I would recommend most days, download the MSC app, look at the menu ahead of time for the dining room. If the dining room food doesn't look good to you, go to the buffet that night. Bring your tablet with you, download some Netflix movies, put them on there.
Bring some air freshener for the bathrooms because it was odor in there.
Download Netflix movies, put them on your tablet so you have something to put on for some noise or whatever in the room. So it is a great option, but you have to be mentally prepared to deal with some of the things you're dealing with.
Yeah.
They have really great parties. The white party was great. The snow party was great. The beach parties. The DJs are phenomenal. The great job to the DJs.
Off the hook.
It's just the little bitty things here and there that kind of add up. You have to be prepared for that. If you're used to traveling on Carnival or Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, you're not going to get those same things that you get on those ships as far as the entertainment, especially. We didn't even really talk about the shows, but the shows are...
They're taste specific. That's
an excellent term.
If you want to be laid back and you love classical Italian, European things, if you love arts, you will love this ship. If you want to just take a break and relax and chill, you will love this ship. I wouldn't say this ship was more for the partier. No. This is more for the laid back vacationer who really just want to chill out. Yeah. And you love you got an eclectic palate with food. You love charcuterie boards and cheeses and things like that. You will love this show.
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So we thank you so much for watching and joining us out here in this beautiful ocean.
And if you want to book your cruise, please call 877-697-4470, or you can reach us online at www.mr-traveler.com, and we'll be more than happy to take care of you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. Like short,
Have fun.
see the world.
Go out there, see it.
Go out there and see it. Bye.